Michaels and Marty Jannetty with rockers. We have some really good ones with those guys. I just tell them to slow down a little bit, like Shawn Michaels. Shawn, would you please slow down a little bit? Like, you guys are 220 or whatever, and they were motoring 1,000,000 miles an hour out there. It's all good.
Weren't you guys involved, you and the Rockers, the Hart Foundation and the Rockers, weren't you guys involved in that infamous house show title change, non-title change? Didn't the Rockers actually beat the Hart Foundation for the titles at a house show, and it was just never ever mentioned on TV? It kind of just faded away into obscurity?
You are so correct. You are so correct. It was a 2 out of 3 falls, and supposedly they were going to be the champions and blah, blah, blah. But as we haven't gone to the first fall yet, the bottom rope breaks. I said, holy jeez, the bottom is gone, and we got the second fall we're doing off the second rope. The second rope breaks. Now we just have one rope on the top, and we're trying to figure out how the hell are we going to go into the first and second fall. We don't have any ropes to come off of. And by the time it was all said and done, there was no ropes on there at all.
Wow.
And we just got through it somehow, and Vince threw it out. So Robert never did get the belt or whatever.
Well, I guess that was back before the Internet, so you never had to worry about anything leaking out unless Bill Apter reported it in one of his magazines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. People seem to, for some odd reason, people seem to know about that, they knew more than we knew what was going on in there. And people trying to figure things out and this and that. It's all really, really good.
I know we've been talking about the tremendous past that you've had with wrestling, but I have to ask about the future of wrestling and your daughter being such a big name now. How do you feel about that? How did she get involved in the wrestling?
How did she get involved?
Yes, sir.
Like I said, I'm always the last one to know about anything, As a father, when Nettie started wrestling in Calgary with TJ and, the Harts back there in Stampede, I was like, I'm always the last one to know anything. It's like, oh, my daughter's wrestling? What the hell are you talking about? My daughter? And, she is such a competitor, and she's got a hell of an engine on her. And I saw her last night on Monday Night Raw do that skit with that older wrestler. Was it Mae Young?
Mae Young,
yeah. Legend.
And anyway, Natty's got she's got a 6-pack going now.
Hey, what kind of 6-pack, Jim?
She's got some abs on her. I said, oh my God, Natty's waist is so small now, and all those girls and everything, they're so much into their bodies, which they rightly should be, and she's just doing so well, and with appearance-wise and wrestling-wise and talking-wise, it's great.
She's definitely keeping the name proud, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Jim, can you do, I don't want to keep you forever this morning because I know you probably got other things to do on a Saturday. Can you do some name association with us? If I give you a couple names, will you give us your opinion on those people?
Sure.
All right. How about we start with the one of the biggest names of all time, Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, have you seen that new TV show about Hogan here? It's called, it was on A&E called Remembering Hogan.
About his divorce, right?
Oh, yeah, it was just on A&E just a couple of days ago, and about all that, but one about his what he's doing now with TNA and where he's at with his head, and I thought that was very unusual. I don't know if it was that flattering or not, but I know Hogan never does anything that's not really, really flattering because he always looks so great. He's such a top performer in the world,
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Even the top performers in the world get old. And, even Willie Nelson.
Hey, but he's still out there, right?
Hogan is tremendous. I remember he was in this latest TV show, he was driving a Charger or something like that, Dodge Charger, and I said, what the hell's going on here? It's like, don't tell me another wrestler's having financial problems.
Oh. Jim, that's a good point. I hate to go away from the name thing, but you said something that really, we talked to a lot of wrestlers on this program, and it seems like a lot of the wrestlers from the 80s. But do you feel like Vince McMahon didn't set you guys up to be successful long term? You see a lot of pro athletes, and they have unions. They have
not his job. It's just like the NFL. Of course, they have NFL as a union and stuff, and they give pensions to the players. It's not the boss's job to make sure that the wrestlers don't spend all their money. We still get pretty good royalty checks, but what it boils down to? There are very few people that can actually do this wrestling business. There are just a handful of people who can do this stuff, and even including everyone that's coming up right now. But still, it's just a small percentage of people, just a few people can do it.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, sure, Vince could have, someone mentioned that to me the other day, why doesn't Vince take care of you guys better after you're done or whatever, Is that any employer's job to really monitor what people do after they're, just because Vince McMahon ran us into the ground with 108 matches in a row. I remember Brett and I, we could hardly walk to the ring. Once we got in the ring, we were fine. Walking to the actual stage was a big deal. We were so tired.
Yeah, the schedule's a lot more friendly nowadays, right?
Oh, yeah. These guys are still running really hard. I hear about, Natty and TJ and Harry. They're all over the world. They're doing a big figure eight around the North American continent, and they have to stop over in Manchester and Dublin, Ireland on the way back, and they're still hitting it pretty hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, two more names that I want to get to before we let you go. Jimmy Hart. Do you keep in contact with Jimmy Hart, and is he somebody? What's your thoughts on him?
I run to Jimmy Hart every now and then, with this independent show and some autograph sessions and personal appearances and stuff, I haven't seen him in about 6 months, but I know he's doing pretty doggone good. And he's always so consistent. And I think he's working with Hogan and those guys around TNA right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's doing musical stuff over there.
Uh-huh. And we know he's good at that because he used to be with a little band called the Gentries.
Yes.
And his big single was "Keep on Dancing."
Hey, I like that. Maybe Jim Neidhart can go on tour with the Voice of Choice, and we can sing all over the country. Hey, Jim, you mentioned Vince McMahon a little earlier. Just one more name, and that's Eric Bischoff. He was the other big promoter up in the the 90s and early 2000s. What do you think about Eric, and what are your feelings on him? Working for him.
I don't know if you call Eric Bishop a promoter. When we had a good run there in 2000 on the WCW with Eric Bishop, and he was more like the booker type thing and matchmaker booker. We're working for Ted Turner in those days,
right?
And Ted paid some really good cash, some good contracts. But yeah, Eric Bishop, he had all the top talent in the world down there in Atlanta. And it was so hard to orchestrate. I like the NWO thing.
Absolutely.
It's hard to take all that talent and do something with it. Because everyone's got their 2 bits to put in,
Absolutely. Jim, this program is listened to by a lot of the independent wrestling organizations in the area, and you do a lot of work with the independents now. How can these guys, a lot of people are looking to book Jim the Anvil Neidhart. How do they do that? How do they get in touch with you?
I have a brand new website as of last week, and it's very simple. You can just go to jimneidhart.net, and you can get my new website and book me on through there, through the email. It's very, very easy.
And you'll go anywhere in the country, including the great city of brotherly love?
Yes, especially Philadelphia, especially Philadelphia. Man, how about the Eagles? God,
Hey, Michael Vick's playing like a real dog out there.
Was anybody ever going to forget about that dog thing?
I think he's doing a lot to make people forget about it.
It's illegal to have dogs that bark and fight,
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy stuff.
Hey, Jim, I think the game this past Monday was one of the best games that I've ever seen by a quarterback in the history of the National Football League.
It's a wonder that Michael Vick is coming back from all that adversity, and I love to see that happen. He is so strong and so mentally tough, to come back from doing 18 months over in prison like that and come back to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time, rushing and like he was a rookie again,
Absolutely. Hey, Jim, before we let you go, give us that trademark laugh one more time.
Yeah, baby.
Jim, the Anvil Neidhart, Ringside Radio. Jim, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning and getting up so early.
Thank you so very, very much for having me on there. No, Jim the Bad Boy Neidhart is not in trouble. Everything is fine.
It's good to hear.
Everything's good. And actually, I'm in really good shape right now. And always looking to get back up to Philadelphia. There's a lot of good independent stuff up there. That's for sure.
Most definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of independence. This is like the hotbed of independent professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah. And thank God for that independent wrestling, because without that we wouldn't have anything except one league, you know, one or two small leagues.
Right.
And that's where everybody can hone their skills and get better and make money.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and hopefully we see him in a wrestling organization near us. Book this guy. We want to see this guy. We want Jim Neidhart to be the champion of Philadelphia.
Well, listen, they will definitely get the full
That's a
backing
pretty
of
tall order,
our
but,
show, right?
I can step up.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to say this right now for you, that anybody that books Jim Neidhart will get free plugs on our show for the rest of that month.
All right.
There we go.
That's fantastic.
Jim,
that should work.
Jim, thank you so much, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you guys so much, and go Eagles.
There you go.
All right.
I like it. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Ringside Radio, 1360 WNJC. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll come back. The voice of choiceonline.com. We'll be right back.